Drink it in, man.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread! Cornbread! Cornbread!
Drink it in, man.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread!
Allstate wants to remind fans that mayhem is everywhere. Like when your fantasy league meets up at your house. Everything's great until the hot plate gets too hot for the tablecloth. Now your kitchen's up in smoke. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, the cost to fix this is anything but a fantasy. So switch to Allstate, save money, and get protected from mayhem like this. Not available in every state based on coverage selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
Detroit Koolaid, Detroit Koolaid drinkers, what's going on, everybody? It's your host, Eric Oaker. You guys know what it is. Talking Detroit Lions right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Drink it in, everybody. Drink it in, man. Side of cornbread.
Cornbread!
You know on the show we always make it a double.
Cornbread!
Now we're ready. And solo again on this show. We're going to have... Chops back, I think, is the plan here shortly. Also got Logan Lamorandier from Sports Illustrated queued up, Joey Sports Guy from the Believe Podcast Network and the Big Ten Network coming on, and so much more. I'm probably going to take a little break here shortly and be off a week or two, but I just thought on this show, I want to talk Lions updates, kind of some more off-season stuff, lots of player notes, news and notes, rumor innuendo, hype, things that are going on with this team. So there's just so much to get into. I cannot mess around here on the show. So I'm going to go a little bit rapid fire. I'm going to try to get some players in, some gimmicks, some news, some things that are happening, and we're just gonna get after it. So let's do this. The first Lions news and notes is what everybody's been talking about. It's a big thing to talk about with this football team, and that's hashtag JMOFast, Jameson Williams. I think I hit on it last pod, but, things are going around about how he's doing well and this and that. And I was like, you got to get this guy the football more. You have to feature him. You can't just run him down the field and make him a decoy and get him a pass or two per game. And from what Dan Campbell said, he says he's the most improved football player on this team. They said, what's he improved at? He says everything. So we all know Jameson Williams can run, but you go back and watch his college tape. The double moves, his ability to get behind the defense, his ability to catch and run after the catch, his swag, his just love for the game of football. It sounds like all that's coming to fruition here for Jameson Williams. And that's incredible because you moved up from like 32 to 12 to get this kid. You knew he was hurt. You were patient, took your time with him. Then he came back and, has a deep touchdown right away, but then doesn't really do anything else. Year two, he has the suspension, comes back early, makes a few plays. You very limitedly use him. I think he's at 20, 25 catches in his career. Obviously, the ceiling is a lot higher, and from a fan perspective and from his talent. So we'd love to see Jameson Williams get to some of those numbers that you see from a top end. People are going to call him like a WR2 because obviously we have Amon-Ra, who just got paid and who is absolute DAWG and does everything right. But that doesn't mean Jameson Williams can't be this number two that you have to account for every week. Not just how many and when is he going to run deep down the football field, but have this guy run a deep in cut, get some separation, catch it, and just house that thing. Have a couple gadget plays for him. Have a stick route where he sells deep, comes back to the football, 18-yard first down on the outside. Like, you could do lots of things with this kid, and like I say, just go turn on his old film. I had so much fun watching him before that draft, and could not believe that we got this kid. And I had no big concerns about the injury, and I just thought he was going to be more dynamic sooner at the NFL level, but it takes two to tango. You have to, get him in the offense, you have to feature him, and he has to be ready to go, and if both those things are set, there's no reason this guy can't be am I going to make him like a high-end, 1,300-yard player with, even 90+ grabs? No, I don't think so. But does he need to be more in the 75 catch range and 1,000 yards and more than a couple touchdowns? Yeah, I think so. And I think he has the talent, the mentality, the ability to do that. And I know some of you are like, oh, but his mentality is not mature enough. This guy loves the game of football. He loves the city of Detroit. He fits right in here on so many levels, and the management loves this guy. The coaches love this guy. His teammates love this guy. So Jameson Williams about to blow up everybody. Just ask Dan Campbell, ask me, ask the Koolaid Cast, ask his teammates, ask him, and you'll hear the same answer across the board. Next topic, we got our boy, the Carlton. And I started the drop, the gimmick, because it's a classic Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the dance. It's funny no matter who does it, when they do it. It goes great with his first name. But I'm here to tell you, the Carlton Davis, is more than a gimmick. This guy is a CB1. He's a true pro. I've liked everything I've seen about him since he's been in Detroit. I like the swaggy number, the number 23. I like everything he said in interviews. When this initially happened, was I ecstatic about giving up a third-round pick to get this player? Not really. When the draft went down, there were lots of players in that range that I would have liked. But Carlton Davis he sees himself as locked down. He says he's going to take a side of the football away. He's going to take out WR1s on a week in, week out basis. Now, we'll see if that happens, because you hear a lot of things in the offseason that sound great or that are exciting, and then when the season comes, like, I thought Carlton Davis said he's going to be locking people up, and he's getting roasted, toasted, and extra crispy multiple times per week. I don't foresee that happening. I see him being a good player, hopefully a better than good player. Is he going to be a great player? I don't know about that, but I think what he is great at is being a vet. He's going to tutor Terrion Arnold, Rakestraw. He's going to be a big brother for Meek, who we'll get to in a bit. And I just love his confidence, and I love the fact that he's played in this league. He's won, what's he won? One, maybe two Super Bowls? Like, I like everything I'm seeing out of the Carlton, especially if he gets an interception and the first thing he does is this. It's not unusual to be I mean, if he breaks out the dance, his first pick, especially if it's a pick six, like, I might have to go get a jersey. I really might. So, number 23, Carlton Davis, the Carlton. I love what he's doing. And I just said I'm going to get to Amik Robertson. Let me just get to him right now. Amik's a straight-up DAWG. I'm here to tell you. Like, this dude will jump on Twitter and come at people. He's not scared of anything. He'll play any position. I think Detroit's going to absolutely love Amik Robertson, whether he's playing the slot, the outside, blitzing, covering tight ends, covering running backs, whatever he's doing. I like everything about him as well from a mentality perspective. And that's what I think that this regime has done so well is, yes, they want talent. Yes, they want elite traits. They want guys that can put the ball in the end zone. They want guys that can take the football away, get after the quarterback, all those things that we and NFL teams value, but what they really want are great people that love the game and that aren't scared and that have personality and that are football players. And that's what Amik Robertson is. So every time I see a tweet from him, I see an interview with him, I see his willingness to do anything for this team and loves being here. He's not boo-hooing about, oh, but you took a couple of corners. Oh, I thought I was going to be the man here. He just saw an opportunity to be on a really good team and contribute, and he took it, and I'm really excited to see what he can do once he gets rolling. So that's what I got on my boy Amik as well. But speaking of my boy, let's get to my boy Brian Branch. Brian Branch, I think I saw like a couple publications. He's the most underrated Detroit Lion. He's been said to be one of the best when it comes to PFF and other metrics in regards to what he did last year. Oh, by the way, he was a rookie last year. I tried telling you guys before the draft, during the draft, before they picked this guy. Brian Branch, one of the safest picks in the draft. He does everything well. I love the kid. I love the player. They jump up to get my boy, Brian Branch, and he's just been balling ever since, from the first pick against Kansas City until now. The thing I'm curious about is Brian Branch is kind of a mysterious. I think it's like a foot injury that he got worked on or something this offseason. He's on a scooter boy right now. But Dan Campbell doesn't seem to be worried. He said he's going to be good to go back by training camp. They did sort of say, well, we'll see. So he could even miss time in camp, which is a little concerning. But this guy's such a smart football player, cerebral player, just great dude that I have no worries about him. The question I have about him is, where's he going to play? There's a lot of rumor in the window that he's going to be playing safety a lot more, which the way Iffy came on from a blitzing perspective and just the impact that he made, even getting his hands on a few footballs, a couple of big interceptions, like you take Iffy off the field. I mean, that's an Iffy decision if you ask me. I don't want to take Kerbo off the field because Kerbo is my center fielder. He's got tons of swag and he makes plays on the ball and will come and hit you in, at, or even sometimes below your kneecaps if he has to. So I love Kirby Joseph from a lot of levels, but man, it would be pretty sweet to have BB back there at safety. It lets your young corners get on the field. It lets Amik do his thing. It lets Carlton play where he's got to play. So lots of options. And, Aaron Glenn likes three safeties. So give me Curb, give me BB, and let's get If out there too and do their thing. That could be really fun. I expect Brian Branch and Iffy to be blitzing from all types of angles this year with the type of flexibility this defense has, and I'm fired up about it. Another thing I got from like these general OTAs, I mean, again, I talked about it before, Arnold and my boy Rake, R-A-K-E, Enos Rakestraw. These dudes are boys already, man. They're hanging out, they're laughing it up. And what's so cool about it, and this is something the Lions have done, and we've seen it done before, both with our team or other teams, when you become a good football team, what you can do are take these players and just sort of let them marinate, let them sit there, let them figure it out. If they are good enough to play right away, great, play them right away. If they need some time, cool, give him some time. We got other guys in front of him. No worries. He makes no money. He's seasoning himself up, learning the plays, learning the nuance of the game. And then when he starts to play, you'll probably say this.
Oh, baby!
So these guys are going to be great friends, it looks like. They're a great young combo. And the best thing about them is they don't have to be a starting young combo from day one. Let's say Terrion Arnold's a baller like we all think. He's got the great personality, crazy confidence. All right, cool. Have him on the outside with the Carlton, have Amik in the slot. Hey, Enos Rakestraw needs a little bit of time or needs to be in certain packages so he can use his physicality and make plays. Cool, man. Let's put Rake out there when need be and let him grow into a role once we move on from the Carlton or when he's ready. So I absolutely love that and think they're going to be so fun, and it's just so great that they can come along at their own speed but be very integral parts for years to come from this team, because we need corners. Why? Because for years we haven't been able to cover a coffee table. We've been roasted, toasted, and extra crispy on defense. We have got sliced and diced consistently in the passing game. And I see that coming to a stop here in 2024 and beyond. Let's talk about my boy, or as Chops deemed him, Brad, always open for business Holmes. Had a lot of comments, a lot of things he's been saying, putting out in the word. And here's a quick side tangent rant. Hey, Rich Eisen, I can't even listen to your interviews because you have this quirk. I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm going to tell you, and if this ever gets back to you, maybe you'll fix it for once. Every interview that you hear Rich Eisen do, he tees his question up, but he trails his question off at the end, and he always goes, so what do you think about that, Brad? And he'll ask another question right at the end. He'll go, so what do you think about Terry Honaro? Tell us a little bit more, Brad. What about that, Brad? He always says the person's name like it's some cue that now they can talk. And, hey, Rich Eisen, just be a normal human being and just ask a good question. And when you pause, the other person will answer. You don't have to always say their name at the very end that now they can talk because you're done speaking. I love Rich Eisen. Michigan alum, great dude. Obviously, he made the greatest decision of all time, leaving ESPN and SportsCenter to come on the NFL Network, and has a job for life and makes buco bucks, and is a great TV personality, a great quarterback for those panels where he just steers the ship. But he's a horrible interviewer when it comes to asking questions, when he trails off and does this annoying nuance where he says, if he's interviewing me, every time when he'd finish a question, he would say, so what do you think, Derek? Derek, go ahead. Derek, what do you think about that, Derek? One, I know my name. Two, I know that because you stopped talking means that I'm supposed to start talking. You don't have to cue me up by saying my name 1,800 times during a 10-minute interview. All right, Rich Eisen rants over. But Rich Eisen had our boy Brad Holmes on, where he was rubbing his hands together, those big meat hooks, and talking about this football team. And one of the big things I took out is he talked about Jahmyr Gibbs, who, in case you're new to the show or you didn't know, or if you did know, I know that you like this gimmick, so I'll do it again. Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolute, you guys know what he is. He's a multi-dimensional, positionless. Wait for it. Elite weapon. And that's exactly what Brad Holmes says. He says he's going to be more involved. He says can't wait to use him more in the passing game. He came along a little bit slow to start, but once he slowed himself down, he really got himself rolling. These are all things we know about Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs, Ja, as they call him. And this kid, I don't even know. He looks the part. He's got the $1 million smile. He's built. He's fast. He's elusive. He can catch. He can score touchdowns. I got him in fantasy football, as you can imagine, a couple big leagues. And he's just dynamic on every level. And it continues to grow. And his second season is going to be crazy. His third season is going to be crazy. His fourth year, he's going to be the man. I just cannot wait to see it. So loved what he had to say about Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's get over to the head coach here before we get our great sponsors, a commercial break. Again, I'm just going straight up rapid fire on a couple bullet points, but I got a whole nother section of stuff to say in the back half of the show. So let's talk about Dan freaking Campbell, okay? Dan Campbell was back with his, capital H, capital I, capital S, his team. There was a lot of rumor, innuendo, things going around. Oh, the coach missed. What's going on with the coach? I hope he's okay. Thoughts and prayers. Dan Campbell seemed good to go. He had his whistle. He had his all black get up on. He was chewing. He had a chew in the mouth. He was looking like he was ready to, coach some football. So it doesn't seem like there's any worries there with the head coach. Dan Campbell was asked in a media session, it was a lot of expectations. Is it bust? Is it Super Bowl or bust for you, Coach? And Dan Campbell, as only he can, looked him dead in the face, said, hey, I don't even know what bust is. I don't see bust. I see Super Bowl. And, there's The Lions had a great season last year. They have a great football team. But last time I checked, it is the National Football League. Of course, you're going to hear on this show, Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to take out the San Francisco. We're going to beat the Eagles. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Because we serve up that Detroit Koolaid. I mean, you guys know what it is.
Drink it in, man.
But you got to show up every week after week, training camp after training camp, day after day. You got to stay healthy. You got to adjust your team. You've got to account for the unexpected. And so I'm not penciling us in. I'm not putting us in pen. But yeah, there are high expectations, and there should be for this team. And they're not going to bust. That's for damn sure. They're not going to go down to winning like 5 games this year, even if they had total injury luck, bad luck, or something else crazy happen with their quarterback. They're not going to bottom out, that's for sure. But to get in the Super Bowl, there's only 2 out of 32 teams that do that. So I love that that's the goal, the mentality, the expectation, just like this was a couple years ago.
We're going to bite a kneecap off. We're going to smile at you. We're going to take your other kneecap. We're going to smile at you. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. We're going to be the last one standing. All right. That's going to be the mentality.
I mean, that's going to be the mentality, just like the mentality now is Super Bowl or bust, but not bust, just Super Bowl, just winning, just getting better, as Brad Holmes said. We want to be better this year than we were last year, which when you look at wins and losses, it's like, okay, if you're better this year, then you win one more football game and you get to the Super Bowl. But being better can mean a lot of things, even if it doesn't necessarily, show up wins and losses only. So I'm totally confident in the team, but it is going to take a lot of work, a lot of day in, day out production from a lot of people to get it done, and I expect them to get it done. I cannot wait for this football season. It's going to be one of the most fun we've ever had, not only with this football team, but in the state of Michigan, city of Detroit, and everything in between. So everybody, let's get our great sponsors in here. We got our guys from PFF All 22, Reality Sports Online, Spotify. Go check out my guy Bryce Johnson over at Fantasy Football Fellowship. See all the great work he's doing. You guys see me shout out Abby the Artist on Twitter. You want an incredible art piece done of your favorite football player or sports figure or anything in between. I mean, she's absolutely incredible. Go check out me on Twitter at Derek Oakery. Go check out at Chops in the D. My buddy, co-host of the show, always really helping out with a lot of things, putting in hard work here, and just appreciate him and many others. And thank you again to all the loyal listeners of this show, and especially those that have contributed to the show, have done the fantasy leagues, hit me up, shoot me a DM, talking Lions, laughing, talking all types of other things. It's really a joy. I know we're all very busy, but it is very fun for me across the board. So anytime you guys check out those sponsors, share this with a friend, leave a review on iTunes. Go check us out on YouTube, trying to get the archives of the pod, as well as maybe some new content up there as time permits. So lots of fun things going on here. We are in the slow season, May, June. Before you know it, July, August, September, we'll be here. Football will be back. We'll be rolling. So everybody check out our sponsors. Let's take a quick break, and I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm your inner dream monologue, and you're fast asleep, so I'll be quick. Great job using the Colgate Optic White Overnight Teeth Whitening Pen before bed. When used as directed, it gives you a visibly whiter smile in just 7 days. So while I fly and talk to animals, you're removing teeth stains with ease. Sweet dreams. And when you wake up, keep on living life to the brightest. Colgate Optic White. Find it at all major retailers.
All right, everybody. This goes out to my fantasy football fans out there. Now, you probably heard about Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners can build and manage their fantasy team like a real NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? I mean, we're talking free agency, multi-year contracts, rookie drafts, multi-team trades. You could put franchise tags on guys. It's as close as you're going to get to being an NFL GM. But do you think it sounds complicated? It's not. I'm here to tell you it's the best thing about Reality Sports Online is it's just more fun than your normal fantasy league, but it doesn't take barely any more time. After all this, are you still not sure? I mean, come on now. You can test your general manager skills by going over to Reality Sports Online, call it RSO. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com right now.
Today, healthier is happening at CVS Health in more ways than you've ever seen. It's wellness destinations for seniors, including select locations with Oak Street Health and CVS Pharmacy. It's doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and everyone in between, offering quality care and support virtually, in person, and on the phone. It's in-home evaluations through Signify Health and meeting mental health needs through Aetna. And those are just a few of the ways healthier is happening. To see more, visit cvshealth.com/healthier happens together. CVS Pharmacy, Oak Street Health, CVS Specialty, Signify Health, and Aetna are part of CVS Health. Eligibility and services vary by location and individual.
Kool-Aid drinkers, we're back. Thank you so much for listening to that. I got a lot of my promos in. Again, just want to shout out all the great listeners of this show. You guys know who you are. I'll make a point here in the next few shows when I get on to have a laundry list of all the people. Just take 2-3 minutes and name off, all these great people that help keep this thing rolling, support the show and all that. But I know you guys want Lions content, so I'm just going to get right back into it. And the first thing I want to talk about on the back half of the show is Giovanni Manu. One of those is correct. I hear he likes to go by Gio, so we got the big fella out there at OTAs. He looks the part in the jersey. When they took him in the 4th round and traded up for him, and there were lots of other players on the board, and I had never heard of this cat, did I yell a few explicatives and possibly say to myself that might be the worst pick that Brad Holmes has ever made, and why did they do this? Yeah, I probably did some of those things. Did I love it when I started to see, man, this guy's 6'7", 340, he's big and athletic. I saw a couple interviews. I loved what he did. He loves Penei Sewell. He's a unique human from a height, weight, athletic perspective. Does he need some seasoning? Yes, but you can see the intriguing parts. So the biggest thing I got from OTAs with Gio is they started him right off on the left side. There was all this boola about, he's going to play right guard and he's going to do this and do, the best case scenario is this guy is a future left tackle when Taylor Decker rides off into the sunset. Am I saying that needs to happen now? No, I've been a pretty staunch supporter of Taylor Decker throughout his time here. There were other co-hosts and people on the show who said he wasn't that great. Maybe even said that, they were going to choke slam him or something like that back in the day. Or maybe I said Taylor Decker was going to choke slam that individual. I don't exactly know how it went down, but I know it was one of the many funny gimmicks we did on the show and we'll always continue to do. But I like Taylor Decker. I just think that, a couple more years, whatever it is best case scenario. I can't really see paying this guy again, especially when you made the type of play you did for Gio Manu. If he can learn the position, learn the nuances, get his feet right, get his technique right, and play that side, and we can leave Penei on the right, or it seems like that's the way it's trending. I know everybody, because of what you paid Penei, you want to put him on the left, and I'm not a person that hates that idea. I just think now that they took a player like Gio, who seems to be more for that left side, and Penei's grown so well on the right side that you would kind of almost hate to switch it up at this point, right? Best case scenario, if Gio plays left, Penei plays right, you fill in the middle spots. Great little nugget came out that Frank Ragnow was like, I don't know why everyone's all like worried about my toe and saying I'm going to retire. It was just something I sort of said that I need to recoup a little bit. I was beat up. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not retiring. I plan on playing for a while. And the main reason he says that or is going to do that is because he has a big check coming for multiple more years on that deal he signed with the Detroit Lions. And he loves football, and he loves his teammates, and he's a hell of a ball player and a straight up nasty, tough, mean individual and one of the top, if not the top center in the National Football League. So I loved hearing that because that did kind of come on like wildfire. Like, oh, Frank said he's going to, man, let's push him out of the league this year. Let's get... I mean, and again, you heard us talk on this show, like we were willing to get a backup plan or a guy to Taylor. That's why I was never big on Jackson Powers Johnson, because I was like, I still expect Frank to play 2-3 more seasons at minimum, and that's why I wasn't going to spend a big pick on JPJ, even if you play him at guard. Like, I love Kevin Zeitler. I totally fine, and they seem to love Graham Glasgow at his age and his ability, so we're good to go there. So Frank seems like he's balling. Gio's going to figure out the left side. I think he's still going to take him quite a while. It is a little disconcerting when people are like, I don't expect anything year 1 or year 2. You definitely expect the player to sort of get up to speed as quick as possible and be there as a potential fit in case. Somebody goes down in like week 6, you love Gio Mano to be ready to go in there, not like a 2-year project plan where it's like, hey, talk to us in 2026, 2027, maybe he'll be ready. I'd like to hear sooner than that, and it seems like he has that mentality. And hey, man, if he really gets up to speed quick and is rolling, they feel great about him, I could see this maybe being the last year for Taylor Decker, and they just roll next year with Gio, Penne, their interior players, and Frank Ragnow. I'm good with that, no question. Since we're talking about big fellas on the offensive line, let's flip over to the defensive line and talk about Big Broderick Martin. I don't think we've come up with a fun nickname for him or any type of gimmick, but the Lions sure love this player. They moved up for him. He has the body type of a Jordan Davis, but when I watched his Western Kentucky tape, it's kind of like, this guy, like, he kind of plays high. He didn't look that dynamic to me, but obviously he has that size, and you saw his interviews, and you're like, yeah, this is a Detroit guy. He fits in with that mentality and that type of approach. So I was on board with it, mostly because I trust Brad Holmes much more so than anyone else. So this guy didn't do much of anything last year. Word was he needed to play lower, hence what I saw on tape. Hey, he needs to get in better shape, hence that he's looking way better this year from a physical perspective. Really looks like he's been in the weight room doing some nice things. So Broderick Martin's a player that seems to be in shape, seems to be ready. Now, if you look at the depth chart, it's like, hey, buddy, you've got Aleem McNeil, a.k.a. Honey Bun, a.k.a. Twinkle Toes, a.k.a. Plump, a.k.a. I can't even call him a.k.a. Plump anymore because Aleem McNeil is looking slim, trim, and like a machine. He was really good last year, and obviously we love this guy's mentality and the way he approaches the game. So you got big number 54 there. You got this guy, I don't know if you've heard of him. We brought him in free agency. It was an Oakley target. It was a guy I said we should go get if we couldn't get a top dog like Christian Wilkins, and they absolutely went and did that. Again, Brad Holmes, saw on my Twitter, listens to the show, fan of the show, was like, hey, let's go get DJ Reader and put him in the middle of our defense. Yeah, he's coming off an injury, but we love injured players. They usually work out pretty well for us. Some do, some don't. And this guy is a true pro, absolute nasty interior football player. Is he going to sack the quarterback a lot? No, but he's going to be out there balling with him and Aleem. And when we move Hutch and Pascal and other people inside. So he's got those two big dogs in front of him, but Broderick will probably be in a rotation, I would assume. And then you got Levi. He hasn't earned this nickname, but I just like doing it on the show. A.K.A. Big Denim. Big Denim hasn't done a damn thing. I know there's word that, he did some nice things last year. I really hadn't seen much, but I'm hearing reports that he's looking way more physically right a couple years off this back injury that he had. I would love it if he could be a penetrating DT, even if he plays, a smaller percentage of snaps. When we need a rush player from the inside, Big Denim comes in, swim moves his guy, gets after the quarterback, and puts the quarterback on his back in the ground and creates some havoc there. That's what I would love. So, and like I said, you've got other guys in there. So there's a lot of bodies, a lot of rotation, but I think you'll see some things from Broderick Martin this year that'll be nice when it comes to run stuffing, physical play, him just being physically gifted from a size perspective more than other guys that he might be going against when it comes to smaller centers and interior guards, things like that. So there's a lot of buzz about Broderick Martin heading into 2024. This brings up a question about Alim McNeill. That's McNeill with 2 L's. Can we pay this man? Because I've heard a lot of people running him out of town already, being like, we paid all these other people. We're probably not going to be able to pay Alim. Going to have to let him walk. The salaries in the NFL are crazy, and DT really got paid this last offseason. Lots of 4-year, $90+ million deals being handed out. Alim's not that penetrator. He's not going to have those sack numbers, but he is really coming on from just as a football player. He looks the part. He says everything right. He's a captain type player, and I'd love to keep him here. I don't want to run a guy like that out of town because he does everything right, says everything right, and is really coming into his own physically and the play. He had a lot of nice penetration last year, some sacks, and created some turnovers. I really like what I'm seeing there. So I think that's something to watch about. Yeah, Liam hasn't got paid, and yeah, it looks like we got to let go of some guys, but I'm not sure he'd be one of the guys that'd be letting go, and he seems to love it here. I'm sure he wants to get paid as well as everyone does, but Alim McNeill is a crucial part of this defense, that front, and I think you got to find a way to keep him, and you're going to be able to keep some guys at good deals. Not everybody's going to get paid top of the market like Saint and Penne did. Another news and note nugget that I got here is everybody, you guys need to check out Jeff Risdon over at Lions Wire. I mean, every interaction I've ever had with Jeff Risdon on Twitter machine, DM, email, writing articles, talking to him a little bit, just a great dude. I mean, he's working so hard over there at Lions Wire and Draft Wire. I just wanted to shout him out and tell him, I know everyone has their go-tos for their Lions content, and yeah, you can probably nitpick and be like, I like this website better than that website, or I don't like the ads and this and that. It really helps when a guy like Risdon is putting out the content, working as hard as he is, and doing such a great job for Lions Wire and Draft Wire. So I just want to say, please check him out. Put him on your rotation of things to read, and then also I do love when he pops up on YouTube and he's got a mailbag segment, or I try to fast forward through some of the podcast stuff he does where I can hear some of his takes, because not only is he a great dude, but man, is Risdon entertaining. Everything he says sounds like he knows it 100%, or he heard from somebody, or this is going to happen or that going to happen. I mean, he really entertains me, educates me, and just like I say, seems to be a great guy from all my interactions and a real hard worker. So shout out to him. One thing I was real surprised about with the Lions was not only that they brought back CJ Moore, but the fact that CJ Moore, before he got busted for this gambling suspension, was a no-nonsense core special teamer, team guy. Yeah, you don't ever want him playing a starting safety spot for you, but he's just like a Jalen Reeves-Maybin or Michael Pittman. These guys that you've had on your... I don't think it's Michael Pittman. Whatever it was. Pittman, the special teams demon, or some of these guys we've had here where it's just hey, man, I really like what he brings to the table from intangibles, who he is. But then when he got that suspension for gambling, you're like, man, I never saw it from that guy. Just I never saw Deshaun Watson being that guy. I definitely didn't see Cam Sutton doing what he's been rumored to do and being just washed out of the league and us having to eat that contract. So I lost a lot of respect for CJ Moore because of what he did, and the Lions got their distance. But as soon as he came back up available, word is that the Lions contacted him and were like, we'd love to have you back. And I saw his interview, and man, CJ Moore seemed like he had learned a great lesson from this mishap. He had a great head on his shoulders. He wants to come in here, help the team. Excited about the new special teams rules, all that good stuff. So, hey, man, I've always been a person, too, that we all make mistakes. We all have issues. We all have to learn from those things and try to come back stronger. And that seemed to me to be like what CJ Moore has done in this situation. And he seemed to continue to say, just don't bet. Just don't even do it. Don't even have it in your pocket. Don't tempt yourself, whatever it is. And that's the safest, best lesson. Anybody out there, if you've got issue or a temptation or whatever, the best thing is to just get that thing out of your life and don't let them even creep in a little bit, whether it be food or people or work or whatever. Get that stuff out, and then there's just no temptation to use it, to do it, to experience it, to deal with that thing, that person, that situation. And that seems like what CJ Moore has done. And I had a lot of respect for his interview, and it seemed like, hey man, this is a core special team player that seems like they've learned a lesson, come back on this team and just be a nuts and bolts, meat and potatoes type of guy. And I hope it works out. You know, I could see him getting cut as well, just as this team is better. Before, CJ Moore types were like, had their spot and were going to stay and do what they did. Now, hey man, if they have a more talented guy that can do some similar things, they'll probably go with that player over CJ Moore. But it was nice to see him say what he said, as well as also maybe just take a step back from where he was and learn a lesson and come back stronger. There was news that came out about all the preseason games. Again, who cares about preseason? But, you know, the times, the dates came out. Lions have 2 away, 1 at home. And Dan Campbell said they're going to do joint practices with the Giants over there in New York, New Jersey, wherever they are these days. Him and Brian Dable are best of buddies. And, I mean, I'm all for the joint practices, and they always get all this hype of all this great work they get and how impactful they are. But if you really look at it, the next thing I think was a little bit telling, too. They asked him, well, you going to also do it when you head out to KC for the next preseason game with the Chiefs? And Dan Campbell was like, the Chiefs don't do joint practices. It's been something they've never really done. Andy Reid doesn't really believe in or do very often, if at all. You might want to kind of consider what the champs do to keep their guys healthy, get the type of work, maybe conceal some things that you want to conceal. So I could kind of see it both ways. Like, yeah, it's good going against another opponent, and the fans enjoy it, but there's something to be said about being in-house too, and just keeping your guys right and being secretive and do it like the Chiefs do it, man. It's working for them. So that was interesting to me. I just want to shout out real quick all these, if you guys are hearing my phone here, just as we're recording, something happened where it popped on the audio. So it's, you probably heard a couple dings, maybe a little ESPN alert there. Apologize for that. But the other thing I want to do, this was a real quick shout out to all the people. Let's see if I can name them real quick. Shout out to Chris, Teresa, Stash in the ATL, Tuna, Choppy Chop. Those are all the people that kind of really helped me these last few years. I mean, I've been to so many Lions games. I've had my season tickets for so long that I've really just found it fun to be able to bless friends, family, even people that just like, even if they're on the fringe or not a Detroit Koolaid drinker, but now they love the Lions because they're winning. And they're like, man, I'd love to be to a game, whatever. I just love taking my season tickets and giving, like, I know like Chris and her family bought like 4 games. Teresa bought a game. Tuna's got 2 games. Me and Choppy are going to hit a game. Stash, I think, is going to go to the Thanksgiving game with my tickets. So it's just real fun to be able to do that and to share them, to have people go enjoy a game. Again, all I'm trying to do is cover my costs. A lot of you guys that are hearing this are like, man, Oak Creek's reached out to me about games before, and I'm always like, don't want to commit, or, want to wait till later, or not sure. Like, I'm just telling you, it's a great time. And like, I'm really hoping a lot of these people this year will continue just to get a game, because it is kind of a hassle for me to go around and ask for people and be the bill collector and do all that. But it's real fun at the end where it's like all the games are filled. Everybody's getting to go to games they enjoy. You get 1 or 2 at the stadium. You watch the rest at home. It's really fun. So I just want to say thank you to all those people that have bought a game, helped me cover those ticket costs, but also are going to get to enjoy. And I couldn't imagine going to like 8 or 10 games every year. It's just way too much for me right now with all the things I have juggling, the travel, the cost, the this, the that. But man, is it fun to share it with friends and family. So if you want in next year, hit me up early. Creak open that wallet of yours and pay early, and I'll be more than happy to reserve a game for you and get you to go to a Lions game in my great seats, which are like watching all 22 film. You can see all the plays develop. You're right up the stairs, 4 or 5 stairs from the restrooms, concession. Great fans in the area. I mean, just loved it. Never wanted to move from the seats I have. So incredible. Thank you to everybody for that. I got a few more. I'm just going to do a quick rapid fire here to end it out. NFL finally got it together, and they're going to try this optical ball tracking, I think they want to call it, aka, actually spotting the ball where it's supposed to be spotted, rather than these 56-year-old refs like randomly walking it to wherever they feel like they want to spot it. I think this is a good move forward. The thing I don't like is the NFL is like that bad fantasy football commish that you have and everybody's experienced, where they get a random thought and they just change the rules suddenly with very little thought, input, how it impacts everybody. And the NFL does this a lot, man. They're just like, oh, we're going to try the optical ball tracking. If it works okay in preseason, we're just going to use it in the season. Like, you think you might want to, I don't know, test this for a couple years in preseason, make sure everything's good to go before you just roll it out in big NFL games with lots of betting, lots of fantasy football, lots of franchises, livelihoods on the line. Yeah, I would think you want to take a little bit more of a slow approach. But the NFL just like assumes if it goes good for a couple games, we'll just do it, figure it out later. After a couple controversies, we'll iron it out. And I don't think that's the best approach. Just like, again, in fantasy football, you could be like, hey, we should add a flex player. Yeah, that sounds fun until you realize that nobody in the league has been building their teams for flex players, and adding a flex player changes your whole roster construction. It changes years to come in the league, and so it's just not smart. Now, if you give people enough of a heads up, yeah, you can make changes like that, and people will adjust and move forward. But some of these snap decisions, I think, are kind of crazy. So I thought the ball tracking would have been good for a while. Again, shout out to the XFL, UFL that have really put these things into place, tried them, show that they can work. And then the NFL was like, oh, hey, imagine that. We could actually do something better than Joe Schmo deciding to put the ball 1.5 yards more forward than it was because he was too slow to run up where he should have been to spot the football, and because he just guesstimated that, oh, that's a first down, I suppose. No need to bring out the chains. These are pretty big decisions these guys are making a lot of times, so they need to be a little more precise. Now, there is a little bit of judgment that needs to be in the game. It can't all be electronic and whatnot, but just some of these ridiculous spottings and other things that go on, I just think need to stop. So I was happy to see that. Did you see my boy all bulked up, ready to go for the 2024 season? You guys know who he is. Number 97 for the Detroit Lions.
Unleash Hutch.
Exactly. Did you see him in the OTAs, all ripped up, black visor, ready to go, ready to have him play his theme music while he gets after quarterbacks? Did you see Aiden Hutchinson looking like an all-pro franchise piece, the next big guy to get paid on this football team? I mean, what do you think, Dan Campbell? Do you want to unleash Hutch this year or what?
Unleash Hutch. I'm ready to unleash Hutch.
Exactly. Everybody is. And it's nice that the Lions saw my 97 throwback Tracy Scroggins jersey that I turned into an Agent Hutchinson. And they were like, man, that jersey's so sweet. You know what we're going to do? We're going to scrap our whole uniforms and go to that throwback block number, simple silver shoulder pads, Honolulu darkened blue crispy jerseys that we got going now. So you're welcome, Lions. You're welcome for that jersey change that I sparked a couple years ago when I showed out the Hutchinson throw forward, which was like the old school jersey with the throw forward name and number on there. Absolutely balling. I'll be wearing that the rest of my life. And I want to end with this guy, man. This is my last thing. And this, I put this on Twitter. Again, you guys can find me at Derek Okrie. It's spelled DEREK OKRIE, and that was Jack Campbell is that dude. Now, you've heard me have fun on this show with Jack Campbell, aka Revord, because there was this kid in my high school named Revord who was like that country bumpkin football player who didn't know any better but would just run right through you. He wore a big old belt buckle every Friday before the games at school. He didn't have a good shirt and tie, but it didn't matter because Revord was just a football player, and he got made fun of by the coaches. People called him Revord. I think that was his last name, but it didn't even matter because it's just such a great thing to yell out. Revord! get over here, whatever. Like, that's what Jack Campbell has been to me. Just a no-nonsense, absolute football player. Don't tell him to dress up. Don't tell him to get on social media. Don't tell him about anything else other than football, Iowa, his family. And when this guy stepped to the podium, he's yoked up. Aaron Glenn called him an absolute grown-ass man, an absolute beast. And that's exactly what he looked like. He still is no nonsense. He loves the game. The game's slowing down. Oh, did I mention he's like 6'5", 250-pound middle linebacker? Was this an Oakley pick? I mean, you guys heard, I think, on that pick, I would have taken Kalijah Kancey if it was me. But again, I didn't get to sit down with Jack Campbell. I didn't get to see him jump off the chair when they asked him about certain things or talk about his love for the game. I just saw what I saw on film, and I was not disappointed by his YouTube tape highlights, but I was like, he didn't pop to me. But he popped when I saw who the person was, how no nonsense he was, what a cult hero, what a legend this guy can be in the city of Detroit and for the Detroit Lions and the state of Michigan. I could see him being as good or better than Chris Spielman when it's all said and done. With the size this guy has, the want to be the best, the fact that when he came into the Lions, he was like, I love being here because you guys don't care. You will put the best people out on the field. We got to earn everything we get, and that's what I'm all about. And Jack Campbell is only in year 2. There are some things where you look at him and you're like, man, I wish he'd have been a little better last year. I wish he didn't do this or that. He was even admitting I'm still making mistakes. I've screwed up a lot here on the practice field, but I'm just here to tell you, from this guy's mentality to his size and speed to his physicality, love for the game, and just the fact that we've needed a linebacker here that is no nonsense and will tackle and hit and be physical. And that's everything I see with this player. So number 46, I know it's not like a swaggy kind of natural middle linebacker number, but I'm here to tell you, if he keeps 46, I see 46 for the Lions being a jersey and a player and a person that this state, this city, and this team can be so proud of. So I'm so excited to see what he does in year 2. I think he's going to be a cult hero, a legend, and somebody that is just elevated huge in the next couple of years to a captain of this defense, a guy you can rely on, and a guy that's going to hit you in the mouth every single week if you're an opposing team and you're going to have to count for Jack Campbell. And that's going to be really, really fun to see for Lions fans. So everybody, I think I've hit my sweet spot. We're probably at about 45-ish minutes with the commercials and some of the drops. And again, when I'm doing the solos, I don't get to do as many funny drops or as many gimmicks, but I got a few in there for you. And I cannot wait for this football season. As you know, we're heading into the summer here, June, July. I know a lot of you guys will be taking vacays with your families. I'll be very busy as well with a million different things, but we love doing this show just for fun, talking football. I appreciate all the people that donate, subscribe, support. Again, check us out on YouTube if that's one of your go-tos. The show will be up there as well if all goes well, and you can also listen to any of the 580-some episodes from all the way back when I started this, 2017, 2018. Here we are in 2024, still talking Lions. So, again, we do it for the passion. We do it for the people. And it's just been a real fun ride. And just keep it rolling as best we can. And with the different people that help out with the show, the guests, the gimmicks, and most importantly, the football talk. So, everybody, that's what I got for this week. I'll catch you next time right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. I'm out.
Pack the bags, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.